A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 5, verses 13 to 16. Passage taken from the Message version of the Bible. Let me tell you why you're here. You're here to be salt seasoning that brings out the God flavors of this earth. If you lose your saltiness, how will people taste godliness? You've lost your usefulness and will end up in the garbage. Here's another way to put it. You're here to be light, bringing out the God colors in the world. God is not a secret to be kept. We're going public with this, as public as a city on a hill. If I make you light bearers, you don't think I'm going to hide you under a bucket, do you? I'm putting you on a light stand. Now that I've put you there on a hilltop, on a light stand, shine. Keep open house. Be generous with your lives. By opening up to others, you'll prompt people to open up with God, this generous Father in heaven. The Gospel of the Lord.
Reflections on the Gospel according to Matthew chapter 5, verses 13 to 16. Can pure salt lose its taste? In fact, it will not. But when we buy salt from the market, on the package you may find the dates of manufacturing and expiration. The reason is because in the process of producing and packaging the salt, the manufacturers also add some chemicals for various reasons. If the product is not used within this time frame, there could be chemical reactions and make the product no more edible. In Jesus' time in Palestine, salt had the chances of getting contaminated with other substances that over the time react with it and bring about chemical change, resulting in the salt's destruction. Therefore, the point of Jesus may have been a word of caution to the disciples not to take their faith for granted. He had just proclaimed the promises of Beatitude, but the disciples who are living in a corrupted and corrupting world must be on constant watchfulness and conversion to obtain the happiness of the Beatitude. In this context of the blessings and happiness which we reflected on yesterday, the example of salt losing its taste could well refer to the power of the world to corrupt the disciples, to lead them to doubt the power of God to intervene in human history to bring about the promised happiness. If we lose hope in the certainty of the promises of the Beatitude, we would indeed be no longer good for the purposes of God's kingdom. We, disciples of Jesus, have a mission to show in our lives, as individuals and as community, the possibilities of the kingdom. Like salt and light, the purpose of our life is for others. Inevitably, our behavior would affect our world, our society, which is already sunk in corrupt ideologies, provided we do not lose our saltiness and become like the rest among whom we live. For better or worse, like the town built on the top of a hill, we would be noticed. The Christian community is not to confine itself, but become a beacon of hope for the corrupt world around. From the inevitability of being noticed, Jesus explains the opportunity and responsibility of the disciples. Discipleship is not a private privilege. It is a duty. Just as light is not light if it does not shine, so love is not love if it does not reach out, if it is not shared. Good works are not any additional job asked of us, disciples of Jesus, Instead, they are the practical expressions of God's kingdom.